Pretty living on this channel for educational purposes only, is not intended as financial advice. It is Macro Monday after dark. Let's take a look at some legacy charts. Things are doing very well. The tape has cleared up quite a bit. Nice little reversal throughout the day, and we continue to fight off news, let's just call it. We won't call it good or bad. We're just going to call it news. The market feels as though, at least to me, it feels as though the market's kind of sick of whatever's going on. Whether or not that's right or wrong doesn't really matter to me because price pays. So if something like Bitcoin is slicing through the cloud, I get a little more bullish, right? We're at the top of the range. Is this an ascending triangle? It looks more and more like it. Is this a W? Sure. We look pretty good here too, right? Let's not forget. We looked, in my opinion, better, and that failed. So anything can fail at any point, but at some point, you as a trader have to make a decision and say, okay, you rub your hands a little bit, lick your lips. You say, how much risk do I want? Do I want leverage? What do I think is going to happen here? I think it is still early. It could be right. I'm not saying it can't be right. I just think it's still early to be super sure that we're going to get anything here. And it's also the summer. It's midterms, right? There's plenty of reasons. We could look at the COD data. There's tons of stuff, right? Not everything has to be perfectly in a line all the time. But looking at technicals, yeah, we're looking better. We're definitely looking better. The longer and higher we can stay in this range, the better. And that's just BTC, right? That's not talking about alts, which are starting some murmurs, right? A low hum, some Mongolian throat singing going on with some of these. Things are starting to turn a little bit for a few alts. And if we look at ETH, even, I guess we'll go to IBIT first, but like I said last night, IBIT probably is a better case for a W versus an ascending triangle, whatever. Both of them, to me, are still bullish. And at this point, this is a trade worth taking. I bought a little bit of IBIT today. I bought more Mara today at the open. I still like Mara. We'll take a look at that. I think all the miners are great. The funny thing about miners now is they have both the crypto tailwind, which in reality, most of the miners aren't miners anymore. And they have the AI HPC tailwind, which clearly is where the market is at still. It's chips, it's AI, it's energy, data center build out stuff, right? That's where the market's at. We'll take a look at a few of the miners as well, but as a trade setup, I love 42 to 50 here, 42 to 47, 42 to 51. That is a decent cloud setup. Now, do we have a price in the cloud? No. Do we have a higher high? No. Do we have a bullish ticket across? No. But at some point, you start to nibble. You start to get a little curious. You start to say, okay, we haven't taken a trade in 70 days. Let's shoot our shot, right? I mean, that's what this is really saying. And again, it could fail. I'm certainly not as confident in either of these as I was here. Here, I was very confident. So that's always the gold standard, price above the cloud. Looking at ETH, same deal. Ascending triangle W, either way bullish, either way not through the cloud yet. Not consolidating on the underside of the cloud, ready to break up. Consolidating on, or in the cloud rather, on the underside, right? It is consolidating on the underside with an edge-to-edge move. Now, ideally, the secret to all of this is, right, people get turbo bullish, in this case on ETH at 22, it pulls back in their face and it gives you a better entry after you've already played along from 17 to 22. That is a multi-month game, right? That is, let's say we get a 17 to 23 over the next 8 weeks, right? And then it pulls back into September, and then you get a long again in October, whatever, something like that. I don't know. In any event, still looks bullish, still looks good for a setup on ETH A. And I would never buy ETH A because it doesn't have staking. I would buy ETH B if I'm going to buy an ETF. That one has staking. No idea on the liquidity at least, but it does have staking. And then if we look at BTC, not bullish yet, but worth an alert. It's getting there. It's getting there. If you just measure the potential moves here on, IBIT versus ETH A. ETH A takes the W on the higher percentage expected move. So maybe you take that into consideration. Or maybe you trade neither of these and you just trade miners instead because they just have more tailwinds going for them than just being ETH or BTC. And then because someone was asking about BMNR, if we look at a synthetic ETH BTC, a 2x, right? BMNR versus MSTR, still in the range. Doesn't tell me there's a clear winner one way or the other here. If BMNR gets above 0.18, I think we call it. We say, all right, Tom leads the winner this round. We're probably going to see a trend continuation, right? Now that only happens if crypto broadly has a swing, because we've already seen that once or twice, right? where BMNR has tried to break out against MSTR and just hasn't. BMNR, MSTR, both of them collectively on their own don't look like longs to me. They don't look like this, right? They don't show any signs of being in the cloud yet. So we'll get there. But again, if you caught this trade from a week ago till a week from now, and then you roll it into MSTR or whatever, right? That's the dream. Fish where the fish are. Right now, the fish are clearly in Mara for whatever reason. No idea. Continues to look very good. And Mara against IBIT also, inverted head and shoulders. Looks very good, right? I mean, I don't know why, but it's just what it is. IREN, more people talking about other miners as well. I think IREN and WGMI has a pretty decent case for a falling wedge. Now, again, it's up to you, right? Do you want to sit in this, buy some IREN now? Do you want to trade Mara, rotate into other stuff, take profit, right? Blah, blah, blah. That's called trading, folks, right? Some people would just prefer to do nothing and sit in WGMI and say, you know what? I'll take 44 to 110 all day. I don't even care about anything else. I don't need to look at relative strength. I don't need to pay attention to all these idiosyncratic, what is this one doing? This one's redomiciling, blah, blah, blah. You don't even need to do any of that stuff. But some people prefer to fine tune it a little bit with their own individual basket, and that's fine too. So this is Bitfarms, Keel in the cloud today. I think that's a bullish TK cross today or tomorrow. Cores above the cloud. I mean, you really can't go wrong across the board. I don't think IREN is quite there yet. Wolf looks good. Hut looks good. Cypher looks good. All these are starting to wake up. I like buying at highs. I do not buy lows. I do not buy weakness. I never buy weakness unless there's a really, really good reason. So beginning of April, no bueno. 2 weeks into April, love it. Yeah, again, that's my style. Not everyone's going to love that. But my assumption here is that all of these have more room to run. Not that I just caught a low and I'm buying at 14, selling at 18. I think collectively the sector looks good. Looks real good. Mara, Bitfarms, WGMI. This isn't firing a cloud long yet, but the trend of the falling wedge breaking up again, reconsolidating, spending months reconsolidating. I like it. I like the story. It's got that fundamental tailwind. On to a few alts real quick. Hype still looks good. People keep asking me, what's your target for Hype? If you're asking that, you either don't understand what trends are or you don't hold on to winning trades very long, right? I mean, this Hype range from May to September was a mess, but it continued to move up. If this starts to lose relative strength, then I think you chuck it for something else. If this loses trailing stop loss, which hasn't yet, I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of Williams fractal in there, but point is, I think this is fine. It has plenty of room to run, and if BTC turns higher, if ETH turns higher, anything that has already done well should continue to do well. That's just the assumption. And this is at a new multi-month high today. So I like it at all-time highs. I like it 60, 120, whatever, right? Whatever. Now, I wouldn't buy it today expecting 120. You got to watch it, obviously. But yeah, it looks very good. And clearly people are trading on Hyperliquid. We've also got Near, which again, to me, is the best pre-breakout looking chart on alts right now, hands down. FET is a close second. I mean, that is such a great looking chart to me. Huge diagonal, huge consolidation, multi-month, just nothing. Near just looks really good. So both of those look very good. I added to Near today. All right, quick flashbang for the legacy calendar. Tons of Fed speak. I don't really care about anything else, to be quite honest. But I don't think the market's really going to care about all this Fed speak either. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Other than that, I don't really see anything here that's super, super relevant. And then next week, also, I don't really think there's anything. There's really nothing until FOMC, and we already know what that result's going to be. It's going to be no change in rates. So the 2-week macro calendar looks pretty clean, in my opinion. Not really much going on. Here's Fed probabilities. 100% chance of no cut, followed by no meeting in May, and then June. Also currently at basically 100% no cut. So we're going to be here for a minute, most likely. Trueflation popping up a little bit at 1.84. We had a hot CPI print last week. We've got CPI continuing to creep up in April. So we'll see what the print in May looks like and how unhappy stocks get, or if they just don't care and we go to all-time highs anyway. I mean, that's what we're signaling so far. PCE headed in the wrong direction, right? All this stuff is headed in the wrong direction. The market doesn't care. And that's fine. And that's going to drive people bonkers. People saying, oh man, the war's still going on. There's so much uncertainty. Maybe it's all priced in. maybe the worst selling imaginable is done and people have done their selling. I don't know. But this is not looking like a market that seems to care much about what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. You've also got GDP, which continues to curl down and make lower lows. Not great. Not great. That's a 1.3 print. Yeah. Not great overall. You've got gas making a new average weekly high there at 416. So is the worst behind us, I guess, is the question many people are assuming, which is fine, I guess. I mean, that's just collectively where the market is. Oil tried to pop up, curling down, maybe a little head and shoulders here on the 4 hour. I would not trade oil. I'd just treat it as a VIX. So oil high, risk low, oil low, risk high. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So you want to see bearish patterns on this. You want to see this lower. So good news on that front. You also want to see dollar lower. This is back in the range, sub 99 down to 98, sub 98. And then we start talking, right? Then we start talking about crypto creeping higher into the 80s. Would love to see this break for lows. I was in and out of UUP real quick, just in case this did break higher. So far, so good. A lot of the energy names, XLE's pulled back a little bit. I didn't check CVX, but I think CVX has pulled back a little bit as well. And you've got the SPY back above the cloud like nothing ever happened, right? The SPY cleared its own mines in the Strait of the Cloud here, and back above the cloud. Don't have a bullish TK cross, don't have a bullish cloud, right? But that was a quick V bottom. Huge gap there. Do I trust it? Do I believe it? I don't know, right? I'm a technical guy. Would love to see this fully flip bullish, but it's headed in the right direction. Q's huge wick today. A lot of euphoria. And that's almost back to all-time high. IGV, software ETF, had its best day ever. SMH, all-time highs. So if trend in risk is back in a bullish way, and there are setups to be had, I still like those setups. Do I love buying SanDisk up here? Not really. Micron up here? Not really. NVIDIA up here? Not really. But there are plenty of other things you can trade. You know, Dell we'll get to. Dell still looks excellent. AMD's an option. AMD looks phenomenal. After curling up, you know, it spent a week and a half continuing to curl up. Decent case for a W after feigning death down here. ARM also looks very good in the range. Again, I like highs of the range. I do not like lows of the range as a momentum breakout trend trader. So yeah, I'd buy that all day. On NVIDIA, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't touch this. I really don't care. Again, it's kind of, at this point, more of a VIX signal on semis and risk. I just think there's better things to do with your money at this point than trade NVIDIA. But yes, it does look a lot more bullish than it did a couple of days ago. Google, even back above the cloud. Netflix, back above the cloud. Amazon, back above the cloud. These are the places I'd throw money if I wasn't already trading crypto stuff. And then if we keep going on to something like Bloom Energy, this is near an all-time high. Almost have a bullish TK recross for the second time. Don't see that often in a year on a daily chart. So yeah, looks great. Looks real good. Other stuff on the AI side. DocN, probably time for me to finally cut this. I've been trimming it. Was a great move. Great chart. And these are the AI charts I would not add to. You know, charts that, in my opinion, have hit their TA targets on a relative value bang for your buck basis. You know, your money is probably better spent elsewhere. Same thing with GEV, right? GEV has done really well. But do I like Bloom over GEV here? I do. So, you know, what am I telling myself? I should probably close both these positions and just buy more Bloom. The chart looks that good. Or buy more Dell, because that chart also looks good. So there may not be a lot on individual name-wise that looks great. There may not be a lot that looks tradable from a setup perspective, but I think the few things that do look really good are worth taking a swing at. Like, you know, look, shoot or shoot. I'm going to go for it, and we'll see what we can get. BTC in of itself is also somewhat of a VIX, right? It's a liquidity gauge. It's a risk gauge. You've got sailor buying. You've got ETFs buying. Certainly a better sign than 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where we were just stuck in the doldrums of nothing. And this whole thing is just a box of range of nothingness, right? I care a lot above. I care a lot below. But until such point, to me, it makes sense to probably trade other things where the setups look better. That's all I have for this one. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.